Hey guys, appreciate you coming out here on a Sunday night. Um, just got off the practice field. Our first bowl practice was this afternoon, so it was good to get back out there with the guys after a week off, and certainly we needed it. As last time I saw you guys in this room, we were beat up pretty good and out of gas. It was good to get with the guys and get back to work, and then as soon as we had got off the field, we found out about our invitation to the Pinstripe Bowl and that we were playing the University of Miami. So very, very excited. Just an iconic venue, a real quality opponent, and another chance for our 2023 team to play together, which is special. I mentioned this at one point during the year. There's a lot of blue blood programs that are home and don't get to do that, don't get to have the practices we have, and then don't get to play in such a great game. So I am thrilled about that opportunity, and just got a lot of work to do between recruiting and practice and transfer portal and all that stuff. It's a busy time, but I'd want it no other way. So if I can help you out here, I'll try to do that.
You mentioned balancing all that stuff. How different is it from your first time around? Because you have the portal, you have roster retention, you have all this stuff, and you have a plan together to balance it?
Well, I don't know if there's such a thing as a plan to balance all that, right? A lot of times you have to be fluid enough to adjust on the fly. The problem is you're dealing with other people's schedules, recruits, portal recruits, our committed players. So something's got to give oftentimes. I really appreciate the flexibility of our staff right now. They're working incredibly hard, putting in a lot of hours. There's no way, there's no way to slice it. It is a grind until after the bowl game, and then as I tell the staff, you get a little time to decompress, and that's. But it's exciting. I'd have it no other way. But it's definitely a challenge.
For everybody on the team, how important and how valuable are these extra practices, but especially guys who might be continuing to try to prove themselves, maybe stepped into some bigger roles later in the year to kind of get these extra practices and continue to kind of prove themselves, I guess?
Yeah, it's a great question, Chris. I mean, the reality is these practices are huge, right? We're going to have a bunch, I don't know how many, 7 or 8 developmental practices with our younger players. We need to still heal. I mean, we didn't, 8 days didn't heal us up from that, from our season. I mean, I got a stat today, and I had no idea. We played the second toughest schedule in America. And when it was given to me, I was like, oh, okay. But I shared it with our team. I said, look, guys, sometimes when you're in the middle of the forest, you don't see that. You just get ready to play and you go give it your all. But we played the second toughest schedule, and that's one of the reasons that it takes its toll on you physically. But our guys, they banged away, and now they get a chance to heal, and we're going to be smart about how there's a lot of different schedules or plans for different groups of people. And some guys will do a little bit and then come in and get treated and do some lifting. Other guys are going to be out there full practice, getting better, right? Here's an opportunity for the second and third team players to get all the coaching, to get all the reps, to get all the film. So what a great opportunity. And then there's that's one phase, and then you move into the installation of the game plan, and then obviously you have game week. So we kind of break it into 3 separate areas, and today was the beginning of the first. So it was fun to get out there with them.
For the opponent to be a team you coached at, a team you played against in the Big East, against the guy who was on your first staff, Mario Cristobal, does that add anything for you for that to be your opponent in this ballgame?
Well, it was a great time in my career as a young coach. I got the opportunity to be a defensive coordinator. I think I was maybe 31 years old. So Butch Davis gave me a great opportunity, and I learned so much from him. He gave me the opportunity not only to coordinate the defense, but he really helped me learn what being a head coach was about and the different things you had to do, some by observation and some he forced me into it and included me in it. So, I'll always remember that as a special place. And it wasn't long, it was 2 years, but it was really, really helpful for me in my development. And I have a lot of close friends still there. But you mentioned it, Mario. I met Mario at Miami. He was a graduate assistant on that staff, and he had played there, was part of those national championship teams. And when we came to Rutgers, he came with us, and he came as our tight end coach initially, and then took over the offensive line, and has just done unbelievable things. But I knew that. I mean, I knew that when when I saw him as a GA that he was going to be a head coach and that he was going to be a really good head coach. So, yeah, very proud of him. And, you know, we've stayed in touch throughout all the years. So, you know, when we play, it'll be competition, right? But other than that, you know, utmost respect and love for the guy.
I guess you were on the practice field, so you weren't hitting like refresh on the page like as much as we were waiting for this announcement. But talking to people at the Pinstripe Bowl, was there any reason that they explained to you why it took so long in the process to get the news out there?
I really don't get into that stuff. You know, I let other people handle that. Like I said, I'm perfectly content being out on that practice field. I knew we got a 13 game, and I didn't care. You know, as long as we get a 13th game, I'm excited. The fact that it's in the Pinstripe Bowl and it's against Miami, that's just makes it even better.
You talked about the strength of schedule. Can you talk about playing those teams, and not only just playing them, but being competitive late in the games against some of those teams? It's something that really hasn't happened much since Rutgers joined the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question, Bobby. I think we hadn't done it, right? We had played well in some games and maybe for a half, but we had not been competitive toe-to-toe with those top teams until this year. And I thought that was a big step for our program. As I said to you, there's always mile markers as you go. And one of those mile markers is when you play the better teams or the best teams in your league, that you're able to compete. We weren't able to win, but we were able to compete. Before you can win, usually you compete. Now, sometimes you have a one-off where you have a great upset, but that to me is critical, right? And being in the Big Ten East, the last year of the Big Ten East, you know, toughest football conference in the country, that at least that side of it was. And, you know, to be smack dab in the middle of that and see our guys respond, hopefully that has battle-tested us for what's to come. And definitely took its toll, and that's why we're healing up right now. But we got a tough group of guys, and they'll respond.
Obviously, there's a group of players who have a decision to make about whether they're going to play in the bowl game, if they're going to pursue the NFL. I guess where are you in those conversations, and when do you hope to know who you're going to have available?
Well, we're smack dab in the middle of them, right? So there's all kinds of conversations you have. Some guys aren't sure, is this the right place for me? Am I gonna be able to have a chance to play here? Those are some conversations. Other conversations, should I go to the National Football League or at least give it a try, or do I return? Other guys are, you know, I'm going to go to the league, but I want to play in the game. I'm going to go to the league, and I'm not sure I should play in the game. And there's going to be all kinds of answers to that. I don't, you know, back maybe when I was younger, I worried about that stuff. You can't worry about it. You have to make sure that you do what's best for your individual players. These guys have given their life to Rutgers, and now they're at a very important part of their career individually. And I try to give them the exact advice I would give them if it was my son. If they ask for it, if they don't ask for it, I probably don't even give it. But I think there's big decisions to be made. And the good thing, again, I always tell you this is a developmental program, and we're filling the pipeline. Well, the fact that we're even having these conversations, do they come out or don't they come out, that to me is another mile marker that we're developing the way we're supposed to. When the pipeline is full, that's going to be a yearly conversation for several players. If we're fortunate enough to get most of them back, you know, then it lays a great foundation for the 24 season. But right now, you know, we're going to handle those conversations. We're going to handle recruiting, preparation for the Pinstripe Bowl, and as I said earlier, a lot going on, but it's fun. That's what being a head coach is about.
A bit unrelated, but Kyle Flood was on your staff from 2005 2011, now the offensive coordinator at Texas, and they just got selected to the football playoff today. Did you get a chance to speak to him at all?
You know, I didn't, but I do have to hit him with a congratulations text for sure. I actually didn't get to I watched very little of the whole lead up, but I jumped into somebody's office and it was just being announced, and I saw the Texas kids, how excited they were when they got announced. And you know, that stuff I love. I'm a little bit of a softie when it comes to that, to see the players so excited. And look, I'm anxious to see our guys. You know, we finished practice. I came right in here to see you guys. I'm going to go hang out with them up at dinner and go see them because I know they're excited, and I want to spend time with them.
Quick follow-up on Chris's question. Have any guys expressed to you they plan to opt out of the bowl game in your conversations you've had last week?
Right now, we're in the stages of conversation. I think some things will crystallize this week. As you know, tomorrow the portal opens officially. That may be the biggest unofficial official ever, right? But yeah, it's coming to a head on a lot of these fronts, I think, and that's okay. I mean, that is college football now. And under my desk, I have a saying written out. It says, "If you don't like it, ... change it or change the way you think about it." I've decided to change the way I think about it because I'm not going to change it. I know that, and I think that we have really good people in our program, and we owe it to them to help them make the best decision for them and for their family.
With the portal, I guess generally, what's your plan going into tomorrow, and specifically, do you plan on targeting a quarterback in the portal?
Yeah, we have, in college football now, you literally have added a whole nother department in what's the equivalency of a pro personnel department in the NFL, because you have to now scout other colleges and be ready if a guy goes in the portal. You have to know what your opinion is. So we scout every single position just like we do high school prospects. Oftentimes you'll get a little precursor. Someone will give you a tip that they might be going in. That certainly helps a lot, so you're not chasing too many ghosts. But we check every single position. And the reality is that, the transfer portal, there's a lot that goes into that. One of the biggest things that goes into it is NIL. And, there's some guys that you look at on tape and say, yeah, I'd love to get involved there, but this guy's going to be X number of dollars and we don't have it, or you know what? This is the guy we're going to try to rally our troops together and try to get this done. So that's another element in addition to just the talent evaluation and the talent acquisition. There's now a kind of a payroll component that goes with that. So it's tricky. Yeah, it's definitely a handful, but one that, as I said, I enjoy it. Sometimes it wears you out a little bit, but just go to bed and get up and get cranking again. And that's kind of what I've been doing the last week, is just trying to fight through it, as we say around here, keep chopping through it. And, you can't do more than you can do, and that's what I try to do. I do the very best I can and try to keep the team together, but yet make sure that if it's in the best interest of the young man to go to the National Football League, then I'm gonna encourage him to do that. And fortunately, since having been a head coach in that league and having a lot of close friends in leadership positions in that league, we kind of get a good information to pass on to our players.
Over the weekend, Tyrene Powell and Holland Pierce announced they'd be returning. Can you just talk about the significance of bringing them back and what that means for each of those guys?
Well, it means a lot for them. It means even more for our program. I mean, these are two of our marquee players, right? A left tackle who is a NFL player and a middle linebacker who's an NFL player. Both decided to come back, and just so thrilled. They're leaders, they're great players, they're Rutgers, through and through, and they're even better people. And when you have that, when your best players are your hardest workers and your best people, it's easy to point to them, to your rest of your team, and say, hey, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just kind of copy what they've done. And they're two guys, one lost a lot of weight and rebuilt his body, and one put on a lot of weight and built his body, but they both worked incredibly hard to get to the same spot, and that's being a really, really good football player. And to have them both coming back for next season is huge. There's a whole bunch more that we're right in the middle of it right now, in the thick of it, and I'm just hopeful that things go the way they're supposed to. Whatever is best, that's what happens, and there's no mistakes. That all the right factors are what drive the decision, and that's my hope, and that's what I'm working very hard to do. But yeah, I'm excited, and these guys, everything gets lost. Everything, the portal and this and that. Oh yeah, guys, guess what? They have final exams right before they go to the bowl game. Right, our final exams end on December 22nd. So right when we're in the thick of our game prep, our guys are going to be in final exams, which is quite a challenge as well. And as I've said to you so many times, at Rutgers, this is really competitive academically. The people you're competing with, and these guys do a great job. I'm really proud of them for that. So everybody, coaches, players, support staff, we all got our hands full, but would want it no other way, and excited, really excited to be representing Rutgers in the Pinstripe Bowl. So thanks, guys.